Okay, starting from the left hand side, we can see here that we have the ability to view our score or our dashboard for our current date range. So with this date range, it automatically selects the first day of the current month that we're in up until the current date. So we can go through and we can change this if we want to view everything that we've done for this year, this month, or however we'd like to change that date range. If we look below this, we've got our target, which is the target that we can set ourselves. So we can click into these boxes and we can set up our own targets, and this is individual to each agent. So as soon as I click back onto the white or the red screen, that's going to save that information for me. So I've got my scheduled tasks here that I can view, I've got my target, and then I've got my actual for each of these values. So I've got my appraisals that I've completed, my listings, the sales that I've been through, and my current commissions. If I move across and I have a look at our red buttons or icons for our databases that we can move into, we can move into the service area, the inquiries database, the contacts. We've got our scheduled tasks, which shows us the current date. We've got our appraisals and our listings. If we go into the service area database, we'll take a look at how the service area has now been linked to the contacts database. So we'll just click on the service area icon, which takes us through to our list view of our service area database. This shows me all the records that I have in the service area database at the moment. I can see the address, the suburb, the last sold price, and the sold date for all of these properties. If I select into one of these properties, it takes me through to my detailed view. So I've got my property details at the top of my screen with all the information about this property, whether it's on the marketplace currently. I can view the photo and the description, and then I've got my owner details. In my owner details, I can see whether this is a current contact or whether this is just a service area record. If I'd like to SMS or email this client, so if I want to transact some sort of bulk communication with this client, I need to make sure that I have them as a contact. So from here I have the ability to move them to the contacts database, or I can link a contact that's currently already in my contacts database. So if I find a record that I wish to start working with and start moving across into the contacts database, so I'll just work on 61 Webb Street here. I can see that I've got Mr. Lee Woodward, and I can modify this information in here, and this is going to transfer across into my contacts database. What I can do from here is I can click the move to contacts. It asks me if I'd like to move this record or all the records in my current found set. So I'm going to choose this record. It's going to move my contact, Mr. Lee Woodward, across into the contacts database. From here I can go back into my service area record. If I scroll down my page, select on my service area tab, and I can see the properties that Mr. Lee Woodward owns. So if I select on his record, it takes me back into the service area database. From here I can now see Mr. Lee Woodward is currently a contact, yes, and I can view all of his contact information. So is he a vendor, is he a buyer, is he receiving our Christmas card or our newsletters. If I'd like to modify this information, so I've just realized that I've got the home phone number in the incorrect field, it's actually his mobile number. I can transfer that information across, and as soon as I click back onto the main screen or anywhere on the grey screen, that's going to save that information. So if I went through and opened my contact record now to view Mr. Lee Woodward within the contacts database, I can scroll up and I can see that that information has changed within the contacts database. So if I was to grab Lee's email address, then move back into my service area database, so I can use the window key to jump back into the service area. I can see that it's brought across his email address straight into my service area database. So from here I can now send him an SMS if I like, by clicking on the SMS icon. It takes me through to my SMS database, and he's just inquired on one of our properties, so I can insert the property SMS, and send that SMS. That now stores that information against his contacts record. So if I click back into the contacts database, I can view all the previous SMSs I've sent to Mr. Lee Woodward. If I wanted to go back to my service area, I can jump straight back using my window key into the service area database. I can continue working through my service area. So I can send him an email through here as well by selecting the email icon. Would I like to send a text or a HTML? I can choose the text in this instance and insert one of my templates. So I can send him out my new listings template and send my email. So again, it's the same as the SMS. I can view all the information, so all the previous emails that I've sent to Mr. Lee Woodward. Back into the service area. From here I can do my bulk finds and send out my bulk communication if I like, so I could find everyone in my service area that is currently a contact, perform my find. I've got 14 records in my found set, so I can see that in my top left hand corner here. If I'd like to send out a bulk email or a bulk SMS, I can select bulk email, choose my bulk email, and then I can select my ID that I'd like it to come from. So I can choose a name from my drop down list, or I can select the ID of the client. So this is very handy if I'm sending it as a PA to all the potential clients. That's going to be ID'd to the actual agent that owns this contact. From here I can set up my email subject. I can choose whether I'd like to email out a message type of a text or a HTML. I can also create a HTML. So with this I can select the Create HTML button. I have the ability here to choose a single property, so I can choose one of my HTML templates and select the property that I'd like to send. It will give me a preview on the right hand side of my HTML I'm about to send out. If I'd like to send out multiple properties, I can select on the multiple properties, select the properties that I'd like to send, choose my template and create my HTML. So I can manually sort this, or I can sort this in any type of sorting order that I'd like, and then it's going to give me the preview of this HTML. Once I've previewed my HTML, I can then go through and I can click send, and that's going to send to the 14 clients that I have in my found set. So I can come back to the contacts information. That's going to show me all the emails that I've sent to these clients.